you've been king, and yet not once have you asked me to be your hand.
Do you even want to be the hand? Like, actually?
No, but it would have been nice to be asked.
Right? Hello! Oh, welcome back.
I'm back and ready to go.
We're here on Pineapple and Lemon Channel today.
Wee-hoo!
Not only do you have the two of us here, we have our special guest, Kathryn, is on with us.
Woot woot.
There she is.
We allowed her back. We allowed her.
But we have Kathryn on today for a very special episode because we know you're a Game of Thrones fan. You can check out our episode on that television show. But we also know that you have never seen House of the Dragon.
I have not.
Which is a prequel series,
Yes.
technically speaking.
Christina and I have seen the first season of it. That's all that's out right now.
Yes.
But Kathryn, how come you haven't taken the plunge on this show?
I think after the ending of Game of Thrones, I needed a little extra time.
Yeah.
To process. And as good as this show looked, as I was seeing previews and stuff for it, I was like, well, I'll get there eventually.
So it was something that you had always considered you could watch. You just really haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not doing anything horrendous to you right now. Like,
I don't want to watch.
but House of the Dragon, like you were saying, is a prequel to the Game of Thrones. So this happens years ago.
Way, way, way before the events that take place on the Game of Thrones series.
We're following Targaryens.
We're
And
following the Targaryens.
we're following their Game of Thrones. That's a way of putting it. And how,
Yes.
again, we're having warring factions, different families, and how they're all competing. But
Targaryens versus Targaryens.
I feel when the show was first announced, there was a lot of hesitancy for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think similar to how you were feeling, where people were like, well, Game of Thrones wasn't my favorite ending. Now you have this new show. But I do think this show has been pretty well received.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've done a really good job. They clearly have done a lot with the technology because this is like a more modern show than even Game of Thrones was.
They had a big budget
They have a
because
big budget.
there be dragons.
So I know this is
Ooh.
also kind of based off of a book because the book's a little
Yes.
bit more like a history book than like a narrative.
Yes.
As far as I'm aware, I haven't read it yet.
I haven't read it either, but I believe it's like the whole it's literally like the book of Targaryen.
Yeah.
So it's their entire history. This series specifically focuses on the Dance of the Dragons era,
Yeah.
which is a big
Big
pivotal pivotal battle that takes place in the Targaryens' history.
Yeah, the show's interesting too because we time jump quite a bit in the show itself.
Yes.
So I think that is also a different way of storytelling than Game of Thrones did. So we're just watching the first episode today, but if you do
Yes.
find yourself interested going forward, you will see that this story does span quite a bit of time. So
It does span quite a bit of time. And I would say that the transitions are quite seamless. I didn't have any issues, and they don't have to do like the whole 10 years later kind of thing. Like it's very clearly,
You can pick up
they
on
do
it.
change the actors. Now, because you haven't seen this series before, I'll give you the IMDb synopsis for you. An internal succession war within House Targaryen at the height of its power, 172 years before the birth of Daenerys Targaryen.
I think we should just jump in.
Let's jump in.
Did we talk it up well enough?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Okay, perfect.
As the first century of the Targaryen dynasty came to a close,
What if this whole show was just narrated? It's just a history lesson.
Rip. I would like some pictures, please.
with 10 adult dragons under its yoke.
I mean, the cool thing is like there are dragons that are
Yes.
just here.
Which is cool. I
Yeah.
do like dragons a lot.
Like they were definitely more commonplace in this time
Yeah.
versus the events of Game of Thrones, where dragons were all but extinct.
So, in the year 101,
Good year.
What a great year.
We're gonna party like it's 101.
Woo!
14 succession claims were heard.
I've only watched this through once as well, so I don't remember everything.
Yeah, I don't either. It's gonna be nice to kind of rewatch it and pick up on everything.
Viserys Targaryen.
I'm so happy that Patty's in this.
Right?
That's so cool.
He's such a great actor, and oh my god, what he does in this role.
I'm just happy he's getting like more recognition.
Right? Finally.
They had to let you know.
Yeah, they needed to tell you.
They had to really let you know.
Daenerys.
She will not show up in this. No cameos. How do you open your dragon show? With dragon.
So I really do appreciate that the composer is the same and they are using Targaryen themes. So if you listen to the scoring for the Game of Thrones series, anytime Daenerys is on, she has this signature Targaryen sound. They've recycled and used the exact same thing for this.
I believe I'm quite content as a spectator. Thank you.
You could probably fit 2 people on that dragon.
Or you could just burn her.
Sorry,
was that too soon?
Okay.
She causes so many problems!
That's the MO for this series. That's a nice dragon statue.
That's a nice dragon.
It's like the guard dog statues.
Right?
It's protecting us.
It's nice seeing King's Landing what it
In
was.
its proper glory.
In its prime, and then we get to see it at the beginning of Game of Thrones, but we were actually just coming from it being destroyed.
Yeah. You have to have fire in every part of the castle.
Just in case you didn't know that they were Targaryens.
It's mandated.
Still no purple eyes.
Even back then.
Even back then. Continuity!
I mean, it would make sense if their descendants, you know.
Don't have them.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
none of them have them.
No, it makes sense.
Leaves people wanting for cups.
I was visiting mother.
On Dragonbank?
Of course. The only way to do it.
She flew up to her mom's window.
The Crown has heard your report, Lord Corlys, and takes it under advisement.
Dracarys. Sorry.
You can't just say Dracarys to everyone you disagree with.
No. It's not that I disagree with. I'm just saying Dracarys to the people who are going to cause the most problems.
You can't just do that, though. You're in, like, a meeting and your computer freezes and you just go, Dracarys!
burst into flames.
Our computer budget's too high for the month.
This is the 3rd time in 2 weeks. Stop it.
How's that for you?
As it should be.
Built out a little bit more. Now, who could be sitting on that throne?
Golly gee, I wonder who. Really pausing for dramatic effect here because they haven't actually shown a close-up of his face. Oh, there we go. The one and only.
It's the doctor.
Is that the doctor on the throne?
Of course it is. Game over, guys.
He's traveled back in time.
Could you imagine if he was still on Doctor Who and they looped this in?
My God, these 2 characters, the doctor...
Polar opposites.
Yeah.
Turn around.
See, we shouldn't want this, but...
Kathryn, you
We
remember
want
what
it.
happens with the Targaryens.
Yep.
When Princess Nymeria arrived.
Princess
look at that.
Nymeria.
Nymeria, you're a princess.
Is there a dog by that name in this very room?
There just might be.
Is she asleep again?
She's sleeping again.
See the great wonders across the narrow sea and eat only cake.
That's all anyone could wish for.
I just want to eat cake. Is that asking for too much?
No.
What are you doing?
So you remember?
But that's such a nice book. Why'd you have to do that?
So I'm guessing because those 2 are best friends, they're going to become enemies by the end.
I mean, this is the first episode of a Game of Thrones type show. Things begin to break down.
Has there been any word from your dear brother?
He's sitting on your throne.
Clearly, no one's told him.
Yeah. Shouldn't there be eyes in the castle? Coming and going.
As the bells of the Grand Sept tolled, and all the dragons roared as one.
How do you think that would sound? That's your best dragon noise.
Dragon noise here.
You're a pack of hounds.
Do you think Matt Smith purposely chose some roles that were very different than the Doctor?
Yes. Yes, 1,000% yes.
Brother,
So disheveled.
With that little smirk, though.
our city should be safe for all its people.
I agree.
Well, that's something we can all stand behind.
Yeah.
We just all want to be in a safe, loving community, right?
Let's hold hands.
Everyone has the same goal.
You know how my brother makes sport of provoking you. Must you indulge him?
I think he's just getting started.
I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious what he's trying to do to get him riled up. And he is falling for it, so.
Yeah.
What are your feelings on the costuming on this show, then?
I don't mind it. It's like highly detailed. Like each costume has a meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, the green dress.
Well, I think a lot of the characters kind of gravitate towards color palettes, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like either of you gone to medieval times and seen jousting?
Yes. We went
Not quite medieval times.
Oh, something else
Close, yeah.
Yeah, we saw the Knights of Valor.
though. Was it a rip-roaring time?
Awesome.
It was actually a lot of
Yeah.
fun, yeah.
Well, because medieval times, they like fake it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys actually.
Yeah, they're
joust.
actually doing it.
Cool. Were you placing like who you thought was gonna win?
We definitely had favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. After a few times when we could like see them go, and then when they take off their helmets, it was like, oh, okay, that's that person.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
What do you know about the Sir Kristen Cole, Sarah?
Oh.
Do you have a problem here?
Not at all.
No, you're giving away a lot with your feelings towards some characters.
Look, I got some strong feelings, okay?
Look at that helmet.
Wings on his helmet. That's cool.
Do you think that gives him like extra speed or does that slow him down?
It's very aerodynamic.
Yeah. He's got a castle on his.
It's a high tower.
You don't have to literally make your helmet into the shape of your house.
I know.
Do they have referees for this
No.
anything goes kind
Anything
of mentality?
Most times the only rule was like to the death.
Well,
R.I.P.
he's only the one having the most. That's how you should react.
Yeah.
A technique is taught at the Citadel which involves cutting directly into the wound to free the infant.
This is my only gripe, is that this is not technically historically accurate. Obviously,
What
this is
is-
in a fictitious
Yeah.
environment, but the idea of a C-section was not practiced. Even up into like in the early 1900s, it was still like the idea of it was a very new idea, and it was definitely not practiced.
Well,
Like they had the theory of it, and
Yeah.
they would do it in an emergency situation, but it was very ill-advised because it was too new. They didn't know much about it.
well, I think it's pretty like ill-advised on the show. He's like, this is like a secret thing at the Citadel. Kind of like,
I think it was just more of coming from a medical history in our world. It was like maybe their world's different. Maybe they're more advanced than us, but
they have different. There are dragons.
there are dragons. That's true.
Don't be scared. They're going to break the paper.
I think it's because it's so quiet. It adds
Yeah,
an
there's
extra
no- there's
layer.
no music, and
It's just a woman crying out.
mace is such an interesting weapon to choose.
Yeah, it does require a lot of like time to really get it going.
Strength and control.
Yeah.
But it's just flailing it around. I feel like you would have more control with a sword.
Honestly, stellar throw.
Right?
That was right in his hands.
Frisbee.
First take, one take, I hope. Like, I know it's all their hair color, but all of the main characters really stood out in that shot.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes you realize how well framing can work for something that simple, but it was also like, I knew each one of them. I could pick them out right away. Like,
As master of coin, you said he was a spendthrift that would beggar the realm.
maybe we stopped giving him jobs.
Damon or Otto?
It would not be an aberration for the king to name a successor.
Who else would have a claim?
Could they hide it better? Like, they're being so forthright about it all. And that's kind of the breakdown of the show, is who has the right to be the next heir.
Okay.
Because there's a few people trying to claim it.
Mm-hmm.
You might wear one of your mother's dresses.
So I definitely don't like that guy.
What, do you think he seems nefarious in some way?
Just a tad.
He's got a very Gandalf the White look going on.
Right?
I thought I might come and look in on you, Your Grace.
It's very kind. Thank you.
Now I have to go back to my model city.
Everyone needs a hobby. His is models.
You know what, though? It could be a lot worse.
It could be a lot worse.
I have only ever defended you.
Damon, anybody who has ever received a lecture, just like, get me that fuck out of here.
You've been king, and yet not once have you asked me to be your hand.
Do you even want to be the hand? Like, actually?
No, but it would have been nice to be asked.
Right? Ooh. Cut of the throne.
No one said it was the most comfy throne.
It's almost like it's not actually a fun position to be in.
What? Every kid ever.
Every person ever.
I can touch the fire and not be burned.
Targaryen must understand this to be king. or queen.
Ooh.
There it is.
Slip that in. She's like, excuse me? Everything I've ever
again.
wanted?
And shall defend them against all enemies in good faith and without deceit.
I mean, at least he got to it right away for this one.
Yeah, but it just makes me wonder if everyone just had a mind erase 3 episodes later.
I mean, yeah, but at least he tries.
And if the world of men is to survive, a Targaryen must be seated on the Iron Throne.
A prophecy, one might say.
Aegon called his dream the Song of Ice and Fire.
There it
is. Connected lore.
Look at the dagger. Continuity.
Look at it all. The music swells in. And that's the end of the show, right? She gets sworn in, nothing else bad happens.
That's it.
That's your first episode of House of the Dragon.
Kathryn, what'd you think?
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah!
Are you on board?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to watch more.
But so far, how are you feeling with the way the characters are interacting with each other, and how do you feel this world?
Yeah, it's cool. It does seem like a different world than in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Like it's completely different. King's Landing, like at the beginning of the episode, it's like not destroyed completely. I love the throne. That looked awesome.
Yeah, that's a big
That's how it
space.
should have been.
It should have been
Right?
like that
So that was, I feel like that was kind of their moment to be like, we're gonna retcon how it was in Game of Thrones, and this
Yeah.
is how it should have been. Like, obviously, how George had envisioned it was definitely a lot more elaborate.
Yeah, it was like
It's like
super
stairs
tall.
up and like super high. Yeah.
The dragons were awesome. That dragon skull at the end, like I want like a mini version of that.
Not that
Like,
big?
Not
It was.
I'll just live in it.
Yeah. But you can already see like the little ways they're starting to manipulate each other, especially like the king. He is emotional. Like he loved his wife, but there are a lot of people in his ear that kind of poke him. And like Damon was saying, like he is kind of like a softer guy. Like he's not as strong.
He's not, I would say he doesn't have like a backbone. Like he knows what he wants, but he's not very firm with that. He very much takes counsel.
Yeah.
Very clearly, quite regularly, like multiple times a day, but he's just there and listens to what everybody else has to say, and he doesn't really form his opinion. Like I feel like sometimes he forgets that he's the king and he can make the executive decision. It's almost like he's trying to be a people pleaser. So it's just the whole thing is like, I feel like this is a bit more politics because it really does just predominantly focus on like who's going to be the heir to the Iron Throne if Viserys were to die. So,
and there's hints already that like he might not be in the best health. So this is a bit more of a pressing matter than like, oh, this isn't going to happen for like a long while. Like it potentially could happen sooner than you might think. So I think that's why people are especially jumping on him right now about it.
Pressing very firmly of like, we need to know who your successor is.
So clearly we have someone here that wants to keep watching.
I might be rewatching too because
Yeah?
I need to get prepped for the new season, and it definitely like watching it through a second time and picking up more. It's just one of those like you watch it for the first time and you're just amazed the whole time, and then you're like, okay, now you go back to like connect all the dots and pick up the little pieces that I missed before.
Yeah, see what they're setting up earlier on that pays off later and all that.
Go watch House of the Dragon. Let us know your thoughts. Have you seen the show? Do you like this compared to Game of Thrones? Do you like both? Do you love or hate one or the other? Are you excited for season 2 of House of the Dragon?
Yeah.
Please let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Like and subscribe to the channel. And as always, if you have any recommendations, whether it's movie, TV, or even plays or books, we're always open to suggestions. And we always take everything, we write it down into our little book. And maybe it'll be on our channel. Maybe it's something that we will tackle on our own time. But stay tuned.
We're always excited to watch more stuff. So definitely
Yes.
let us know. And we'll be happy to check it out. Thank you so much for watching with us.
It's been a blast and a half.
Had a really good time.
As always.
You could like this video.
Or subscribe, even better.
If you want to see something for us to watch in the future, like a movie or a TV show, please let us know in the comments.
And we'll get on that right away for you.
Yeah.
Woohoo!